Good morning, everybody. We just got out of court here at the courthouse in Portland, Oregon. We had a good morning this morning. Right behind me back here is the jail. Blaine Cooper is back here in Portland as of today, and we won't have much longer. We'll have Ammon Bundy, Ryan Payne, Pete Santilli over here for sure, and possibly another one or two defendants that they're planning on bringing over here. But this is the jail right behind us where Ammon was here for a little over 10 months, where he was found not guilty. We was told this morning in court that Blaine Cooper is now in town. He arrived sometime over the weekend or possibly this morning. He's going to be called up in the next few days, it sounds like, to testify. And we had some motions concerning Blaine Cooper today, concerns from the defense team wanting to bring up some of his things that he might testify about, but things are looking really good. We had the jurors all sworn in today, and we had opening arguments from the government and also Jason Patrick's attorney, Mr. Comaz. Getting into the government's opening arguments, they were the government did very well at bringing their argument today. They pretty much recapped the first part of the case of the not guilty verdict, and we're trying to illustrate to the jurors what happened in the first case, and they even brought up Lavoy Finicum, that they was going to be hearing about Mr. Finicum's death and everything that's surrounded around that. They brought up the Constitution today. That was brought up by Judge Brown and the defense and even the government. What applied in the Constitution and what did not apply, and how the Constitution is supposedly being misrepresented by the defense. But overall, I'm real pleased. I know the other defendants. I talked to them just a moment before we start this live stream. The jurors are real attentive. We've got 3 or 4 jurors that are literally watching this case, listening at the edge of their seats, even more so than last time. These jurors, a couple of them even got sort of emotional during Mr. Comaz, Jason Patrick's attorney. And hi, Kristen. How you doing? I see Sandy Turner on here. Sherry sees me. She's probably somewhere around me watching me here, so she's spying on me here and messing me up. But hi, Sherry. We had the courtroom was pretty much packed out. There was like 1 or 2 seats left over, and we've even got overflow going today with another 20 plus people up there. So we got a lot of people here for opening arguments. We've only so far heard 2 of the opening arguments, and that was from the government and from Mr. Patrick's, Mr. Comaz. His opening arguments, Mr. Comaz was very, very good. For the last year and a few months, he's pretty much sat on the sidelines just fighting this case with Jason Patrick. Hasn't spoke very little, very quiet. So we haven't got to hear from him and see what he's all about. Today he opened up opening arguments very well, emotional, bringing up the facts of this case, what they were going to be hearing in the next few days and few weeks. And the jurors were just at the edge of their seats listening to what he had to bring forth. It was good. He brought up the fact that why the situation occurred after Lavoy Finicum was murdered, and the state of mind that these guys were in of having all this armed military surrounding them, putting them in a threat when there wasn't no threat at all up until the government attacked these people, and that these people came from all over in support of the Hammonds. The Hammonds were brought up dozens and dozens of times a day. The situation of why they went to prison for 2 times, how they had been sentenced to just 3 months and 1 year at the very first, and then they got resentenced and the emotion that was around that and why they were there with an address of grievance was brought up. Federal land rights and how the federal government has taken over land all over the West and how they own up to 80% in some states or more. So the jurors are really getting an earful and an education, and we're just getting started. This is the third day. This is great. And we've got 3 jurors I noticed in there, and I won't go into them by numbers or nothing, but these 3 jurors are really watching this case. They are paying attention today. They're taking their job seriously. I think all of them are doing that, but these 3 in particular have been at the edge of their seats, taking notes, listening, and not missing a beat. And I appreciate that. If you're taking somebody's life, it's this serious. These men may go to prison for a long time if they've got found guilty. And we wanted jurors that were not biased, that were interested in both sides of the case, and I see that happening here, and I'm very pleased on what's going on, and so are the defendants. One thing that happened really funny today that I've got to bring up before I forget, we've got Neil Wampler and we also got Ken Medenbach, 2 of the first defendants that were found not guilty. They've been in the courtroom and in support of these guys. But Neil Wampler, as soon as court was over with today, he stood up really quick and he said, "Miss Brown, I'm back. Miss Brown, I'm back. It's Neil Wampler back here." He goes like that. And Judge Brown was just about to stand up off the bench, and Judge Brown kind of sat back down, half seating, half standing, and she looks at him and he goes, "Miss Brown, I was found not guilty. I need my stuff back. The marshals have never given my stuff back." And so Neil, he was all excited there to get to talk to the judge, and she says, "Well, I don't have no control of that." She says, "You'll have to talk to the marshals and them about that." And she quickly got up and left out. But it was awesome to see him, and he was all smiles about it. As soon as he came out of the courtroom, he goes, "John, did you see me?" And I said, "Yes, I did, brother. I seen you. I seen you stand up there, and that was awesome." And gave him a hug. He did great. It was very, very neat to see him do that and have that courage there in the courtroom. So we're going back in here after lunch. We're going to hear at least 2 more opening arguments, maybe all 3. We still have Dwayne Emmer. We still have Daryl Thorne and Jake Ryan's opening arguments to hear. Jason Patrick's opening arguments, Mr. Comaz, he represented all 4 defendants very well. He spoke real well about them. He says what they did not want is they did not want another Ruby Ridge and Waco situation. They wanted a peaceful resolution to this. That's why they addressed the government and the local sheriff's department with an address of grievance. It was all about the Hammonds out there. And he brought out in opening arguments that there was no conspiracy here. These guys came to help a neighbor, to help a brother in need, as every American should. And again, we're getting educated. These jurors are getting educated up here. And that's what I found in the first case. I recommend everybody to come and take part in this. Come down here and stand with us. Come into the courtroom and observe. It's an education that you can never get anywhere else. If you want to find out about this case firsthand, it's more important to be here and listen to it firsthand than even from myself. I can't even justify giving you the right words here to tell you how awesome it is to sit here and listen to everything. I'm learning myself about this case. Every time I come in here, I learn more information that I haven't heard. So that's about all I have for today. We had 2 Native Americans, I think from the Paiute tribe, that were here observing today. They just sat peacefully in the corner. We had a half a dozen FBI agents or so there that were observing also. And we had a courtroom full of supporters. We had some media in there that were taking notes. And we had an overflow room plumb full. And so we really had a great morning. I expect we're having a great afternoon. Listen to the rest of the opening arguments. This case is going to get unraveled. We're guessing about 4 more days of bringing witnesses in, and then we'll go into the final stage of this case. This case is going to wrap up pretty quick. I'm expecting it. We've got more in line of what we know happened last time. I would say next week sometime, the way it looks, we're probably going to hear Ammon Bundy testify, Ryan Payne, Pete Santilli. I'm looking forward to these testimonies. We're also going to have Blaine Cooper in the next couple of days, and then several government witnesses, and it looks like we're going to have, looking for a couple more names here, but we've got quite a few witnesses here. Today also in the courtroom, John Ritzheimer's name was brought up, Joe O'Shaughnessy, we had Corey LeCoux, Lavoy Finicum several times, and the Hammonds brought up several times. And main thing the federal government's saying is that the Bundys distorted the case of the Hammonds, and they even distorted the Constitution, which we know is not true. That was the whole reason we were out there, to try to bring awareness to what the Constitution is being abused. That's why we have 2 trials going on up here, and don't need to forget that. We have 2 trials going on at the same time. We have a bench trial. The judge is trying these guys on 7 charges. We also have a jury trial at the exact same time as the bench trial on the original 5 charges. So this is the kind of thing that we believe is unconstitutional, and this case is important. It's important to happen. We're excited to see it happen, to bring the truth out, to show the world that there are good people out here. There's good jurors that are listening to the truth, and they are tired of this federal government overreach also. I'll try to give you a little view again. That's the jailhouse again behind me, where most of the guys were housed for several months. Right over here behind me, that's the courthouse we're in. We're in floor 9. Here's a few of the supporters. Say hi. Hey, you want to come over here, Neil, and say something? Yeah. This is Neil. I was just telling them, Neil, that that you stood up and you said hi to Judge Brown today.
Yeah, well, I had to have my moment of glory there. Say hi to Anna.
He stood up and said, "I'm back, Miss Brown, I'm back." Where's my stuff at? I was found not guilty. They still haven't gave me his stuff back. I mean, that's, most everybody's got their stuff back, but Neil here hasn't got it back yet. Well, we're going to get it back for him. I'm sure Judge Brown's going to do the right thing.
As always.
Well, good to have you here, Neil. I'm glad you're here.
You're here, John. You're a amazing man.
So, well, that was Neil Wampler, guys. Not guilty. Well, we'll come back here this afternoon. It'll probably be close to 5 o'clock, I'm thinking, but we'll give you some more updates this evening, and we'll have updates every day this week as the court keeps on unraveling. God bless, and glad to give you this update. Have a good day. Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday evening. It's after court. It was a real busy day today. Didn't have a lot of time to give an update down there at the courthouse tonight, so I thought I'd try something a little different. Give you a little update on what's going on. My phone is saying I have really poor connection, so I may not even be able to go live from here, but we thought we would try this and see what we can do. My intentions are tonight is kind of recap what happened today in the last couple of weeks, maybe from Nevada and in Oregon here both, and take some questions from you guys. I see a lot of people coming on here quickly. Terry Lee and Larry and Gills, Sean, it's good to see everybody. Jody, going to try to take some questions from people tonight and recap some of the court stuff that I might be missing when I give some of the live streams. It may not stay on here real long, but we'll see what we can come up with here and talk to you about. One of the things, I don't know if everybody caught on. Good evening there, Fred. How you doing? Neil Wampler That was an awesome day today to see him make that stand and jump. We were in court, if everybody didn't catch that earlier, and the judge had just released let the jurors go out, and she was setting everybody back down to talk to the defense lawyers and figure out the next thing after court. I see somebody says it's blurry on here. I'm not for sure. I don't have good phone service out here where we're staying, so hopefully good so far. How you doing, Ted? Miss you, brother. So just a choppy picture, but maybe I don't know what's going on here, but hopefully we won't stay on here too long. We'll answer a few questions. But Neil Wampler today, he stood up right there in the middle of court, and he says, Miss Brown, I'm back. It's me, Neil Wampler. And pretty awesome. He stood up right in front of everybody and yelled it out. And so it was great. He was all smiles about it. He asked the judge, he says, when do I get my stuff back? I was the one found not guilty. So everybody laughed, and the judge didn't take it too funny. But how you doing there, Al? So if anybody got any has any questions here, put them out here for me. I'm wanting to take some questions and about what's going on here. So we got a couple I see coming on here. Let me see if I can get it. It says, is Blaine Cooper testifying for the defense or the prosecution? Well, Catherine, he's been called by the prosecutors to testify on their behalf because he took a plea deal. We feel that Blaine Cooper doesn't have anything to testify that can hurt us. So we're excited to hear his testimony. And his is going to be in the next couple of days. He is right now sitting here in Portland in jail. And he's going to be called up any time. It could be tomorrow or the next day. We're expecting his testimony. So we don't expect him to be able to say anything that we already don't know that can't hurt us. He's pled guilty. We feel bad for him on that situation. We wish he had not, but that's the decision he made. And so he's going to jail, or going to be sentenced anyway for what he pled guilty to, no matter what his testimony is. So we feel comfortable there. Let me see here, get a couple more here. I don't know if I've got the best connection, so I apologize for that. I'm coming back over to Nevada, not next week, the week after. And I should be over there. I'm trying to stay here in Portland at least until Ryan Payne, Ammon Bundy, Pete Santilli testifies. I want to hear them, and then hopefully follow them back over to Nevada and keep following over there. I miss everybody over there, and I want to be a part of that too. I expect this case here in Oregon to go faster, and I bet you this one here will be over before the one in Nevada will be over with. The way things are going here, we're not going to be but a couple of more weeks or so, and this case is going to be over with. All four defendants today, they all gave their opening arguments, and the prosecutors. And we opened up with our first witness today. This first witness was Greg Bretzinger. He's the head of the FBI here in Oregon, and he's worked for the FBI for 22 years. He was still on the stand as we ended today, and so we are going to finish up with Greg tomorrow and some more testimony from him. And so things are going real good. The defense team is asking him questions when the day ended today. Blaine Cooper, see that ask again. Blaine Cooper is going to be testifying the next couple of days. He has been called by the by the prosecution, but we expect him. We don't expect anything new that he can testify against us that's really going to hurt us. What about Judge Brown's refusal to allow the jury trial, the misdemeanor charges? Fred, that's a good question. Yet we're having two trials at once. We're having a jury trial that the jurors are hearing on the main charges that the guys were charged with, the felony charges, and the judge is hearing the misdemeanor charges. So the jurors are going to deliberate and find their verdict on those. The judge is supposed to find her verdict on the misdemeanor charges. So we're having two trials at once. To me, it's like double jeopardy, but the law doesn't see it that way. But that's the way I feel it is, and that's what we're doing. That's the injustice. The jurors should have seen the whole case. They're hearing it anyway. So we're having still a jury trial only on the felony charges. We don't know if any more names of informants are going to be released. It's a good question that has been brought up today. We were this first witness that we had, Greg Bretzinger. He was testifying. He confirmed again on the stand publicly that Mark McConnell is an informant and he was working for the FBI. So that's like 3-4 times it's been confirmed over and over again, but it was confirmed today on the stand under oath from the head of the FBI, Greg Bretzinger, that 100% that Mark McConnell does work for the FBI, or at least has worked for the FBI. The transportation orders have been signed, and Ammon and Ryan Payne, I don't know about Ryan Bundy, but Ammon Bundy and Ryan Payne are supposed to be here along with Pete Santilli. I don't know exactly when they're going to come, but they are being brought over here eventually here. Yes, it's a bench trial on the misdemeanor, and it's being heard from the judge at the same time, or soon after anyway, that will follow up while the jurors in deliberation. Greg Bretzinger, am I pronouncing his name right? Bretzinger? I can't pronounce his name right. We'll just call him Greg. So, I don't have his name right, but I'm bad at names. I really chop them up. Yeah, I want to be here definitely. Greg Bretzing. So, he's an important guy. He's a witness that today he would say things like that I cannot recall. He didn't remember a lot for being in charge and having such an important job. Over and over again when Jason Patrick's attorney was questioning him on the stand, he could not recall a lot of things that he was asked. And one of them was he was asked how many informants were at the refuge, and he could not recall. He didn't know. A lot of things he couldn't answer. Let's look at some more answers here we've got here. People keep saying the prosecution's at a $100 million budget. I don't know what it is. I know it's a lot of money they're spending. They're wasting a lot of money here. Let's look here. I see William Fry here from Ohio. How you doing, William? We've got a lot of messages here. I'm going to try to catch up with some more of them. John and Joker J. Their names were, I know John Ritzheimer's name was brought up today only as being at the refuge, but that's about all I know. I haven't heard anything about a plea deal being changed or nothing like that. All I know is right now that he had pled guilty, and I know he was working on changing that plea, but I don't have any update on what's going on there. Lavoy Finicum, his name was brought up a lot today. The Constitution was brought up. It was a whole different outlook on this trial. The prosecution's not trying to hide as much about the Constitution this time, and they're also not trying to hide Lavoy Finicum's murder. That was brought up a lot. The guys' spirits here, Ted, are great. I think everybody was happy after the day's procedure, and so everybody was in good spirits when we left the court today. We was really pleased. We feel like we hit a home run today. One thing that caught my attention that was very interesting was that when Greg testified on the stand, he said they had a couple closed meetings when the governor of Oregon came to Burns, Oregon during the occupation during the protest over there. So, to me, that just confirms that Kate Brown knew more than what she's letting on. Is Joe okay? I would say you're talking about Joe Robertson. I'm thinking Tina. I'm not for sure if that's the Joe you're talking about, but Joe is doing really good. I heard that he got his first visitor finally the other day. Someone from Montana went over and visited him in Inglewood, Colorado. But it sounds like he's doing a lot better, and we're hearing some good things are happening for Joe. So Joe Robertson's, he's doing really good, and Lindsay's taking care of him excellent over there, trying to keep updates, and she's adopted him, and it's a blessing to have her so close to. So Lisa says that Ryan Bundy's coming. I had heard that was a rumor, Scott, and it sounds like it's true. If Lisa says that, that's great. I knew that it was a possibility. So it looks like we're going to have quite a few of them. Ryan Bundy, Ammon Bundy, Pete Santilli, Ryan Payne, Blaine Cooper. We're going to have a family reunion here in the courtroom. When they hear some of these testimonies, we're going to know we're going to be guaranteed another not guilty here for sure. Here again. Thank you, Debbie Gibson. The jurors, yes, Paula, that's a good question. We did have reactions for Jurors Day. I won't give the numbers. I've got a notebook here just full of notes and all kinds of. I've done myself today, and I'm not really a note taker as much as some of the others. But I got to page 11 today. 11 pages of notes from all day. One of the jurors, during Jason Patrick's lawyer's opening arguments, when he was talking, a couple of the lawyers themselves were almost breaking down a little bit themselves with emotion, and one of the jurors were definitely feeling that emotion and crying just a little bit. It was an awesome day. We were all praying that the rest of these guys do get released, and we know it's going to be here soon. There's a good friend, Mikey Eamon from Montana. How you doing there, buddy? The misdemeanor bench trial may be a mistrial. I'm not for sure what's going to happen there, but we're not looking for a mistrial. We're looking for a not guilty verdict for sure, and we want what's the best interest. We don't want to go through this trial again for sure. It should have been dismissed is what it should have been, instead of some of the guys having to plead guilty to the trespassing charges. And we know that was a trick from the government to try to get some of these to do that, but because they don't have a case, so that's why they were doing this. But we definitely don't want a mistrial. I think we're not going to get a trial at all for the other charges, a jury trial anyway. We're not going to get a jury trial. We've exhausted all of our motions and means at this time, in this court anyway. I see Ollie says that Joe is hanging in there and doing good. So we're glad that he's doing good. We're glad that Ollie and Lindsay are over there helping him out in Colorado. See, someone says Brian from Michigan is praying for all the defendants. Thank you. We can use all your prayers and support. Anybody who gets over this way, you're welcome to help us out. We should have some signs up tomorrow. We got them here. We've just been pretty busy, and we haven't had a chance yet. Yet William Fry, Greg has he has a new job. He has a security job. Has had it for now about 3 weeks. So he's a security officer working for some company. I did get the company name, but I don't recall it right offhand without going through the notes. But he's a security officer for some company here in Oregon now. He worked for the FBI for 22 years. I haven't heard nothing much about the Hammonds. I know there's people visiting them in jail, that they go out there and fly signs out in front of the jail. But as of right now, they're still sitting in jail over there in California. Mumford's court case has been set for trial. So he's one of his charges got dropped, and he has 2 other charges that he's facing a bench trial, and he does not get a jury trial for his either. But he did get 1 charge dropped. I see there's a picture here. If somebody want you want to send me that meme or picture, please do. That'd be great. Try to look through some more questions here. I don't think so at all for that question there. That Victoria Sharp, is she one of the infiltrators? I don't see no way at all. She's not. She's just a young girl. Her family was in support of what was going on over there, and she got caught up in it. And there's accusations on both sides, but I don't see no possible way at all. Her name's never been brought up at all. She needs some time and some space to recoup from everything that goes on. There's full-grown men that can't handle what went on here, and it takes somebody strong in their spirit to be able to stand up in these hard times like this. Lindsay is awesome. So Ryan Bundy may come. It says, yeah, so that's what we're hearing, that Ryan Bundy may be here. I've seen that Lisa did her first live stream. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I'll try to get over there. I see Gavin says that thanks for the updates. Thanks, Gavin, for your updates there, too. I lost that message. I'm trying to go back, and I can't figure out how to do it. I didn't read all of Gavin's message there, but I know Gavin has a live stream planned for any time, too, so here real soon, too, in the next few minutes. But thanks a lot, Gavin. So Ryan Payne is definitely coming. I know Ryan Payne is definitely coming over here to testify. The charges that are before the judge are a range of misdemeanor charges. They're Class B misdemeanor charges, and so the judge is hearing like trespassing and some other charges that are added charges that after we got the not guilty verdict back in October, the prosecutors decided to add some new charges, and they're all these new charges are all misdemeanor. And those are going to be a bench trial before Judge Anna Brown and not before a juror. How you doing there, Arthur? Lee Arthur Rice? So that's a little bit going on. My thoughts on Jeff Sessions. I really don't know nothing about Jeff Sessions. And just by what I'm seeing on social media, so I don't have a lot I can say about him. I've been told he's a good guy, but other than that, I really don't know except what I'm just seeing on social media myself. I know I've seen some stuff on Pence and Vice President Pence, and I appreciated some of his standing that he was doing. He had some good speeches that he put out that I actually watched myself. But Sessions, I don't know nothing about him. So I don't see, let me see. Adverse possession is not trespassing. That's what Fred says. Adverse possession was brought up several times today by the defense team of some of the reasons why they went to the refuge, why Ammon Bundy was filing an address of grievances, and so that's going to be, sounds like it's going to be a part of this case. It is actually talked about several times in the opening arguments. I see Philip all the way from Alaska. Thanks for joining us. See from Florida, people are praying. It's a hard thing. Most people are afraid to go to a jury trial to face a jury, so that's why a lot of people do plead. because it's real hard to get a fair trial anymore, even with the juries. A lot of times it's stacked against us. Most cases, I think I've read statistics that said over 90% anyway, it might be even like 98% of people are found not guilty in these courts. What's going on with Ammon? Ammon is awaiting trial in Nevada. His trial has not came up yet. We have 6 other defendants that are on trial there at this time. And so Ammon will be over here in Portland to testify on the behalf of the defendants here. But other than that, Ammon is just, he's awaiting trial and preparing himself for the trial that's coming up probably in April, but it's not set in stone. Luana says she's still waiting on a baby. So I think her daughter or somebody is in labor at the hospital, it sounds like. So congratulations on the new baby, and let me know what it is. I keep seeing it says, what's going on with Ammon? So we're just waiting. Ammon's waiting on trial, and he's going to come over. He's being transported over here to Oregon to testify on the defendants here. Jason being kicked out of the courtroom. That was like last week. He didn't have his ID with him, and they gave him a little issue. I actually didn't ask him all the details on it, but I know that there was some incident that happened on one day there, but Jason's been in court here every day of this jury selection and the day for opening arguments. So Jason's not missing for sure. They did not remove the bullet from Ryan Bundy's arm. He still has that bullet, so... I was talking about your, you said, Luella, you was talking about your daughter or somebody going to have a baby. So let us know what when she has that baby. I'm saying congratulations. Victoria Sharp is a nice young lady. Well, that's about all the update I have. I don't have much more to give you a report today. Tomorrow we listening to from that are brought up, and we expect that last the next 2 or 3 days. The computer they need 5 days, maybe day 1. So we have 4 or 5 more days left, and then the team will take over and start calling witnesses. So Tuesday of next week, possibly Wednesday, it looks like we're going to have the defendants take over. You know, it's a hard question on some of these, and I know some of them need to be answered sometimes. Why would she friend McConnell? You know, everybody has friends, and they make their choices, and maybe we wouldn't have that same friend, but she went through a lot. They're shot at being in that truck, and some make friends on this, and them are her decisions. I don't know, but she's that's what she did. So I would joke, McConnell, he might have made some mistakes, and we don't like him for what he did, but hopefully he repents for what he did. So that's what we're hoping. I don't see a lot more questions here. I'll be back with you at noon tomorrow, and get you some more updates as we get our break.